the vast majority of your colleagues and also the vast majority of the advocacy community that works on Social Security, Medicare, and seniors programs that are adamantly opposed. What I think you are for, and you mentioned it, one of the components of legislation that would bring more revenue into the program in a fair way, and that's Congressman John Larson, your neighbor from Connecticut, his legislation, the Social Security 2100 Act. And I know you're a co-sponsor, and we thank you for that. And I just would ask you to explain why you're a co-sponsor, why you see the value in this approach to dealing with Social Security.
Well, it's one of the first bills that I committed to co-sponsoring when I was running for this office, because it's forward-looking, right? It is about, obviously the year 2100 is in it, but it's forward-looking in the sense that it thinks more broadly about what the program should look like, as I think strongly about is expanding Social Security, making it a more powerful tool. That's inclusive of increasing and changing the formula around cost of living adjustments. They're reflecting the basket of goods that a senior, is dealing with, right? Looking at that rising costs of prescription drugs and housing and so many more things. Increasing the benefits for the first time in 52 years. People don't know that often, is that we really haven't tinkered with this in a major way. And, as a result, it falls behind. And then thinking more broadly about how caregivers, right, which is a very significant a portion of the population, can get credits to ensure that when they take time out of the workforce to care for people in their lives, and they're not penalized because they ultimately deserve the benefit in full as well. And so these changes and a few others will improve the quality of life for more than 110,000 Social Security recipients just in Rhode Island alone, and millions across the country. So I'm proud to support it. My sense is when there is a speaker, Hakeem Jeffries, and if we have a good showing in the Senate, that we will take care of this. We will tackle it. But it's got to be a long-term fight. All of the big social welfare fights in this country have been, and that's why I think it's important that I champion this as someone who hopes to be in the Congress for a bit.
Well, and as you know, you mentioned caregivers. I'm sure you're aware that most of these caregivers are women.
Exactly.
And they're the ones that leave the workforce to care for children, a parent, maybe not even their own parent, but the spouse's parent. And they're the ones that are penalized by having reduced Social Security benefits. So the caregiver credit that you just mentioned is really a very important part of updating the Social Security program. On Medicare, Medicare more complicated, with its own challenges, as you know, in terms of solvency coming up soon, but also some real gaps in the coverage. We have been working for years to add vision, dental, and hearing to the Medicare program. A lot of seniors, when they are about to go on Medicare, assume, well, we're going to have coverage for vision, dental, and hearing, and they're shocked to find out that they don't. They're, as we said earlier, on their own when it comes to that. So I wonder, what are some of the priorities in your thinking when it comes to the future of the Medicare program?
Well, look, I think we have started to make some progress. I talked about the Inflation Reduction Act, what we're able to do around negotiation of prescription drugs, capping the cost of insulin at $35, which is just life-saving in so many ways, and the capping of out-of-pocket costs, right? In Rhode Island, for Medicare Part D recipients, that applies to 175,000 Medicare Part D recipients who are going to have their costs capped at $2,000 a year. So that's progress, right? And Republicans weren't with that at all. But look, these programs aren't blue and red. And so we've got to go further in a lot of ways. And certainly when we talk about dental, vision, hearing, we all know that, it's father time dictates that those things are going to be and continue to be vital components of seniors' health, right? So we need to provide as comprehensive of coverage as possible. We need to make sure that we are accelerating certainly the ability to negotiate for these drug prices, and we need to make sure that we are thinking about how Medicare can continue to be the powerful tool to keep our seniors healthy. So the combination of Social Security and Medicare and strengthening those will have benefits downstream throughout our economy as well. So I'm committed to doing whatever we can to go broader in how the coverage works and how we can make sure that seniors are taken care of adequately.
Well, I really appreciate your comments. Father Time has been directly telling me about hearing aids, vision, dental. So I'm personally very well aware of these challenges. And your colleagues now in the Congress, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse and Congressman Cicilline, your predecessor, they were key in getting the Inflation Reduction Act passed. And so I'm glad that you're there now, along with Senator Whitehouse, the rest of the delegation, to make sure that these programs stay intact. The pharmaceutical companies haven't given up on opposing the negotiation ability of the government to negotiate. They've been fighting it in the courts, on and off. So we need to continue being vigilant about that, and I know you will, Bill, will do that. So I was going to ask you about more about caregivers, but you already dealt with that, and prescription drug negotiation. So I wanted to end this session reading a quote of yours that was given to me the other day, and then I wanted you to comment on that. And the quote from you is, quote, "The pursuit of happiness does not disappear once you start receiving Social Security and Medicare. And it's imperative that we provide all of Rhode Island seniors and seniors around the country with the right to age with dignity, joy, and comfort." You said it about as well as I've heard it from anybody in public office. So as you pointed out, you've been there in the Congress for about 5 months. How are you feeling about all that? Are you idealistic, hopeful, encouraged? And do you feel that that we're on the road to progress? We'll stay on that road and not go backwards.
Well, look, I ran for Congress because I do believe that tomorrow can be better than today. I'm an optimist. And I know that hope can't exist in isolation. Hope requires action. And so in 5 months, I've seen there's a lot of action we have to get going. But my belief is that these fights, they take a while. They require blood, sweat, tears. They require hard work, grit, resilience, and determination. But for that, nothing happens. So we have to push, right? When President Obama talks about the moral arc of the universe bending towards justice, that it doesn't bend on its own. It bends because we wrap our hands around it and we pull collectively to drive the future that we desire. And so on these bedrock issues, when we think about the greatest anti-poverty programs we have in our nation's history, when we think about what Presidents Roosevelt and President Johnson did, the legacy that they put forth, at minimum, I'm going to fight tooth and nail to make sure we keep them the way they are. But I think we can do more. And with the help of you and so many in the advocacy community and so many of my colleagues in the Congress and so many seniors raising their voices as well, and seniors and not seniors, people like me, people who, I've got a good 30 plus years to go before I'm a participant. But you better believe I'm going to do everything I can to make sure those my age and behind have access as well. It's so needed in our country. It aligns with our values, and it aligns with the virtues of where we are and the possibilities that we want people to have at every stage of their lives. So I'm grateful to have spent some time with you, Max, and I can't wait for all the work that we will do together.
Well, I look forward to that too. And let me just conclude by saying progress, in my opinion, requires commitment and eloquence that you have. And I've seen it in person, watched your campaign, and I've listened to you at this session. And I feel like we're in good hands with the representation that you bring to the Congress. So thank you. And I too look forward to working with you going forward. And I'll see you in person soon.
Yeah, see you soon, Max. Thank you.
Thank you.